Hey everyone, I hope you're well. It's Colleen from Soul 1111. I'm here today to do a newly formatted twin flame reading. I'm going to be uploading, this video is going to be for twin flames in communication. And then there will be another 2 uploads for twin flames in separation and also twin flames in karmics, because I'm going to try and pick up on energies within different sort of categories within the twin flame collective, and just see whether that gives you guys a more accurate representation of the energies that are going on amongst the collective by sections, as opposed to a general blanket view where that can shift each time I read. So yeah, the reading is going to be a new format. The plan is going to be to go with thoughts, feelings, which is normal. I'm going to look at some blockages and then actions that may happen in the next few months for the, for the collective I'm reading on. So if you do like the new format, please pop a comment below and let me know, because it's always good to see your thoughts on the information that's presented when I read the cards. I also wanted to say thank you to each and every single one of you who has subscribed to my channel so far and been patient for me whilst I've gone through my own healing process. As I said, I want to have a more sort of structured take on uploading videos for you guys, and I think splitting these twin flame categories down into 3 separate readings will be, a first sensible step in the, the direction of uploading more videos for you. If you guys don't do so already, please do check out my Instagram page, Soul 1111, because I do upload I upload readings there, quotes and bits and bobs, which actually some of you may find helpful, and there's uploads going up there every single week. I do pick a card over there as well, which is something I may look to add to this channel at a later stage as well for you guys. But yeah, today I'm going to do a reading on twin flames, specifically in communication, and we're going to look at the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies on that. I will start with the divine feminine energies first. And again, to everyone that has subscribed, I am truly grateful, because even when I see some of you comment and things, that energy exchange that we have is just wonderful for me. And I really enjoy sort of connecting with others on this journey. And it's just really nice to hear feedback and know that my readings have helped some of you out there, which is the purpose of this channel in the first place. So yeah, without further ado and waffle, because I've waffled on for 2.5 minutes now, I'm going to start with the divine feminines for this week for the twin flame collectives that are in communication. Bear with me, because I've written down the 3 subcategories and I have to keep checking to make sure I'm saying the right one, because I don't want to get them mixed up. So yeah, we're going to start off with we'll start with the divine feminines and what they're thinking about this connection at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to pull, I've got some awakened twin oracle cards for the divine feminines and the divine masculines. So I'm going to pull what the divine feminine is thinking about the connection at the moment. So the divine feminines, their message to their masculines in terms of thoughts at the moment is needing to cleanse their energy and to take it easy. So again, for this collective, even though you're in communication, I think it can be quite perfectly organic and natural at times to need to take a bit of time out for yourself. So whilst you may be in communication and contact with your divine masculines at the moment, taking a step back and focusing on you is also a really sensible thing to do. I'm going to take a little look in at what you're thinking about this one. We'll pull some tarot cards to extend upon those oracle cards that I just pulled. But yeah, feminines, I think, you guys are just taking a bit of time out for yourself and just resting, relaxing, regrouping, healing, no doubt, because, this journey is undoubtedly a gift to each and every single one of us, and it's a gift to help us heal areas within ourselves, holes in our soul that need to be healed. We all know that being around your twin flame is in essence, a calming place to be, and it's a place that feels like home. And more often than not, when the energies are out of balance, you can find yourself chasing that feeling of being home. And more often than not, in the early stages of this process, you chase that person and that feeling over recognizing that bliss and that feeling and that serenity and that calm is all within you. Your home is within you. And home is having a whole and healed soul, So let's see, what are the Divine Feminines feeling for this week for the collective? Yeah. Okay, so look, this collective of feminines at the moment within the connection with their Divine Masculines, God, it's a mouthful. There's been a huge shift. Yeah, there's been a very, very large shift mentally here, and I feel almost a bit like that's you taking your energy from your masculine and the connection at this time, feminines, and just focusing on taking it easy and cleansing yourself. You know, that's been the change that's happened in this connection mentally. I do feel that at the time when this decision was made, there was some fear about whether that was the right thing to do, feminines, and whether taking that step back was going to have a positive and favourable outcome. But I feel getting the Tower in the reverse and the Six of Wands here for me is about overcoming yourself and your fears and the fear that things could just blow up in your face if you were to take time. And what I can say, feminines, is that the masculines will always, always, always want you to love yourself first. So they're not going to look at you or deem you selfish for taking time out if that is what you need to do. So yeah, I definitely think at the moment, whilst you're in connection and you're in communication with this collective of masculines, at the minute, feminines, you're focusing on you. And I think when we look at the masculine energies in the second part of this reading, I'm quietly confident that the energy that I'm picking up here is that they will be proud that you've done that. I'm going to take a little look at what's going on in your heart space, feminine. So how you're feeling about this connection at this time. I'm shuffling the wrong deck. I'm shuffling the masculine ones. Need some coffee. Yeah, so let's take a little look. How are the feminines feeling? My ascension is my main mission. Let go of control. So yeah, I do feel, guys, that with this Tower and this Six of Wands and this Wheel of Fortune in the headspace, there was a definite need and a definite pull for you guys to sort of just take a step back from the energies and focus on yourself. You know, the need to control the energy within the connection. Sometimes it can be a bit overbearing, not just for you but for your masculine, because remember, you're the same soul essentially in two separate bodies. So what you're feeling and the energy that you're giving off within your soul, they're going to be picking up on, and that can sometimes be overwhelming for them too, but they may not understand it the same way that you do. I think many of you could sit here and say there are points when all of a sudden this wave of emotion will sweep over you. You don't have a clue where it's come from, and actually sometimes that's yours. That's your energy, and sometimes that's theirs, you know, and the key thing is to transmute that energy and always bring it back to love, you know, ground it, be present with it, and bring it back to love. So we're going to pull some tarot cards now for you guys in the heart space. So how are the Divine Feminines feeling about this connection at this time? I'm going to do 3 shuffles. But yeah, I definitely think fear got the better of you. And I almost feel a little bit like for this collective, mentally, you made the picture worse than what it was going to be. I don't know. I feel almost a little bit like as well that there's been sort of an awakening in terms of communication and you setting that expectation with your masculines. You know, I'm taking a bit of time for me. Yeah, look. Wanting to have just balance and connect to source, connect to yourself, you know, because you are a divine being. Yeah, I feel, look, again, with the Four of Cups and the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Cups in the upright is generally about forward-moving communication or an offer, you know, an emotional offer. And I feel at the moment, you guys have sort of said to your masculines, I'm taking this time for myself. So you're setting the expectations is how I feel. So that, you know, that this typical energy exchange that would happen between the two of you is going to be put on, not on the back burner, but just temporarily on hold whilst you focus on yourselves. I know for a fact, guys, that you've been worried about whether the masculine would receive that well. But I feel that for this collective, actually, that's, you're in communication and you've communicated about how you feel, and that's been received well. So I think you may have been guilty perhaps of mentally being more concerned than what actually the reality of it was, was going to be. And and let's be honest, anxiety is living in the past and fear is living in the future. And the anxiety of the past you can't change, it's done. You can just accept it, heal it, move on. The fear of the future is something that hasn't even happened yet. But we can have a tendency to overthink these things and make them seem a million times worse than what they're actually going to be. And again, that's just kind of the ego coming in to protect you from all eventualities, Let's take a little look at any blockages that you've got, feminines, for this week. What are the blockages for the Divine Feminine, please, for this week? I stand by my decisions. My path will be continually revealed to me. So yeah, I think the blockage has been what I've been saying all along, feminines. The blockage has been you. I think you've been mentally panicking about calling, giving the connection a bit of space and giving yourself space, but the whole purpose of this journey initially and primarily is about coming into union with yourself and recognizing that you as a person and as a soul are your home, and that bliss you feel with your twin. When you look them in the eyes and you see the soul and not the person in front of you, that bliss belongs and resides within you all the time. I just think we go on this journey sometimes trying to seek that from outside, and when we don't get it, it triggers that abandonment, that rejection, that fear, that not being, feeling good enough. And I think at the moment, this collective of feminines of their masculine energy is awakening and they're able to assert themselves and set the expectation on what they want. So bloody well done, I feel a little bit like as well that in not fearing the situation and accepting what will be, you're having faith. You're in a position of faith that your path will continue to be revealed to you. Things will become clear. The beauty of this situation is I feel that, your DM energies are starting to awaken so that you are asserting yourself. And that is what this journey is teaching you all along. The masculine and feminine energies within you are there all the time. And it's about bringing those into harmony, Nurturing yourself as much as you do your masculine. And sometimes that energy needs to be kept back for you, not just the connection. And that's a really big step. Because let's be honest, that can be a huge, huge trigger, can't it? If I take a step back, are they not going to like me? Are they not going to speak to me again? Am I going to lose them? No. Right, we're going to take a little look at the blockages for you guys in... Yeah. Okay, so I feel for a small while, prior to this communication happening, guys, that you were really, really struggling with whether to speak or not, whether to do this or not. And I feel that in this latest area of communication, you've moved away from that sort of do I, don't I type energy and that fear-based energy to sort of surrendering and having faith. And you know what, getting the King of Cups here in this as a blockage, I feel is a representation that perhaps you've not invested as much love into yourself as you needed. And I feel a little bit perhaps you've been depleted by that. And now it's a case of recognizing that you need to focus on emotions. And we've got the King of Wands in reverse here, which is wonderful. Again, as I said, masculine energies are waking up. That is, the King of Cups is an emotional, stable, secure person, secure energy. And you guys are feeling secure enough within yourselves now to take that time to yourself, because it is needed. It's important. This journey is as much about you as it is them. And you've got like 3 parts to this journey. You've got yours, you've got theirs, and then you've got your shared journey in the middle, and it's making sure that you, in all honesty, feminines, you put your part first, because your masculine is responsible for his part or their part. Remember, this is energy. We're not talking about physical gender here. And then you've got that shared collective part, which is going to go through this synergy of being in harmony. And then there's going to be something that happens that creates that disharmony. So it will require a shift. And then there'll be a shift this side with your masculines, and then it will be harmony again. And then there's another lesson to learn. And this process is a journey. It's not like, a steadfast destination, because actually, the people may not agree with this, but when I look at other people's stories with twin flames, they're not always romantic connections as well. And it's reaching a place of demonstrating to yourself and being love, not just feeling it, being love, and recognizing that this journey is a choice that we made as souls to incarnate in this world and to show and demonstrate to the world what unconditional love looks like. And when we talk about unconditional love, that has to start within us first, because if our twins are a direct mirror and we are not mirroring to them unconditional love for ourselves, they're just going to mirror back the same from an opposite point of view. It's a bit like if they're a mirror, and this is the mirror here, and you've got your twin, this is the feminines this side, and you've got your divine masculine here, and you've got yourself here in terms of energy. The more you feminines move towards your masculine, the more this side he's going to move back. So what you're actually doing in response to this mirror that's a direct thing, the more you move towards your masculine and further away from yourself, the further away he's going this side, or they are going this side in the mirror, which is the opposite of what you want. So when you stop being here and you start focusing on healing and you become here on the mirror, you're becoming closer to yourself, and therefore this side, that will be mirrored back to you. I don't know if that will make sense to you guys, but it just popped in my head. So again, I may do a picture or a drawing or do a chat about this separately rather than a tarot reading, but just consider that. This is about a journey back to you. And the more you journey back to you and not away from yourself towards your masculines, the closer you'll bring them this side. Because this is a journey for you both to come back to self, and then in the middle of this is union. Whatever shape that comes in. For some it's physical and romantic, for some it's just harmonious connection and pure love that is something that you then become, and it's able to then infiltrate the rest of your life, So yeah, I hope that resonates anyway with you guys. So yeah, at the moment there's definitely DM energy waking up within you guys at the minute, and it's more about feeling rather than doing. Feeling for yourself rather than doing. Okay, so we're going to take a little look at the actions, and this could be for the next couple of months. Obviously, these readings are timeless, so if this resonates with you at the time, then the message is for you. If it doesn't resonate, then it's not for you, So in the future situation, feminines, you're going to be working on recognising triggers and having faith that divine timing is at play. This is, for me, the energy of complete surrender. You don't need to see what's happening in the physical, because underneath all of this, right, in the physical, you're carrying about your business. You're potentially going to work, you're looking after the kids, you're doing whatever. So on the face of it, to everybody else, your life is normal. So when you see that same thing being mirrored back with your DMs, don't just assume there's no change going underneath, because that's like almost assuming, well, on the surface of this, I'm absolutely fine. I'm going to work, I'm functioning, I'm cleaning my house, I'm doing the food shop each week, or whatever it is that you do. But underneath all of this, guys, let's be honest with ourselves and say there is this huge undercurrent of change going on all the time. Even when you're in dream state or sleeping, it's there. So once you accept that within yourself, your masculines will accept that within themselves too. Change is inevitable, my darlings. The only thing that's guaranteed in this life is this present moment. This moment right here. And this journey is about teaching you to be present in this moment. Focus on yourself, focus on self-love, acceptance, have compassion for yourself. Mostly be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is healing. These journeys cannot be rushed. They are so subjective to the person and so personal, and everybody's journey is different, but there's similarities, and the emotional journey that we all go on within this, there, you can draw huge similarities, but not everybody has the same stages. Not everybody's outcome results in union or reunion. But the journey in the middle is about everybody's journey ends in union with yourself. And that's where the common, the similarities come in. But if my journey was the same as yours, or everybody else's completely, then there would be nothing to learn, because you would just follow what everybody else is doing. that's not conducive to growth or ascension or learning your lessons the way that you need to. It's also not conducive to unconditional love and shifting up the paradigms of what love looks like or is in this world. No, because if everybody's was the same, what we're teaching everybody the same thing, and that will just become the norm. We are here to educate everybody on the different shapes of love. You know, we all accept that a mother's love for their child is different to the love for their husband or their partner. We accept that we have karmics that teach us lessons and generally tend to will teach us what we don't want in our next connection. We'll have soulmates where there's that synergy and things are quite fluid and there's genuine love there. And you can have a twin flame connection. None of these, you've got love for your best friend, but none of those loves are any less important than a twin flame love, because it's still a representation of love. Gay people, transgender people, it's teaching you that love matters, love is. So that acceptance of love is what we're here to teach, to show, to be, to become. And once you embody that, once you embody love, acceptance, and you embody faith, you just become that. And this journey becomes a whole lot easier, believe me. I'm going to take a little look at the actions with the tarot cards for you feminines. Sorry, you know what I'm like, I channel as I go, and sometimes the readings can be short and snappy, and then other times I get messages that I think I really do need to convey, you know? So bear with me. It represents my personality as well, you know, a bit sort of all over the place. But I've learned to love that. I've learned to love that. Life is fluid, love is fluid, and so should you be, you know? I think I spent my whole life not truly loving myself and accepting myself. I tried to push myself into a box that society says was the right one for me, and I was utterly miserable. It makes people unwell. I believe that if we can embrace people for the unique creatures and beings that they are and souls that they are, you know, if we saw souls instead of physical beings, and we see beyond the masks that everybody puts on every single day to get through life, and we see beyond that, we feel their energy, we communicate to listen and not to be heard. If we can be the love we wish to see in the world, how much more beauty would you see? Because a soul is a beautiful thing. It's the ego that can be the blockage for that. And pain can make people, you know, hurt people, you know. What actions are we seeing? Drop the cards there. Actions are going to be going within, following your intuition on this, and I feel that the communication that you've had with your masculines, feminine has been, you know, you've definitely called it right. And, you know, there's definitely an energy of moving away from the fear and the upset, because these have come out in the reverse, my darling. So I think there's been a mental fear about being upset or their connection coming to a close, because that's a 10. But the reality of it is your masculines are going to respect you for following your intuition and for loving yourself. You know, you've got this masculine energy here of love and withholding action at this time, and you've got this gorgeous feminine energy here, look. With faith in the divine and surrender. So I think that's a really beautiful reading, guys. I'm going to move on to the masculines in communication, and we'll take a little look at what's going on with them. I know that this has been a little bit of time, but I'm hoping that the messages help. If they did, please let me know in the comments below. You know, like I said, I love contact with you all and seeing who's watching the videos and stuff. It's really nice to reach out to others on this journey, you know, and understand your stories and hear your journeys as well, you know. And I think it's important for each and every one, you know, every single twin flame out there to do the work for themselves, but to share that journey as well. you know, because it definitely helps others. So it is 24:46. And we're going to move into the masculine reading now. So masculines, welcome in. Cross-watching feminines, welcome. I'm going to be doing a different format to usual for the twin flames. This is for twin flames in communication. And masculines, we're going to take a little look at what you're thinking about the connection currently, how you're feeling about it, any blockages that you may have, and we'll also be looking at actions, you know, sort of outcomes as well for the, you know, this could be for the next couple of months really, but you know, as I said, the readings are timeless, so if this resonates with you at the time that you watch it, then it's for you. Energies are interchangeable, so if I do say he, she, then ignore that. It's basically, it's not based around gender, it's based around energy. All right, so what are the masculines thinking at this time? Trust in me and you are my queen. So yeah, if you masculines, if you've been watching the feminine reading just now, I'm conscious of the fact that for this collective, the feminines have taken a bit of time out for themselves and perhaps communicated that with you, and this has been received well. And I do feel a little bit here like this is your, you know, your message to your feminines that, you know, trust me, I will receive this well, and I understand the need for, you know, for personal healing, taking personal time and recharging, you know, recharging the batteries. I'm going to take a little look with some tarot cards as well, masculines, about what's going on in your headspace and how you're, you know, what you're thinking about this connection at the moment. But yeah, you know, I was talking to the feminines just now, and this you know, this journey is all about, primarily about coming into union with yourselves, and the reunion with your feminines is sort of secondary to that. And I'm pretty confident that deep down you guys are super proud that your feminines have taken a bit of time out and invested in love into themselves, because after all, this journey is about triggering your, you know, your individual journeys to self, you know, becoming and being love. After all, this is what you're trying to teach them, isn't it? Right, so that's beautiful. This really does, you know, correlate to the reading that I've just done for the feminines, my darling. So masculines, look, you're comfortable just waiting at the moment. I feel like with the feminines, they had the Two of Pentacles and they were juggling whether to discuss this situation with you. And I feel at the moment you're happy to wait. You're happy that they're, you know, for no movement at this time. And actually, you know, this time for them is time for you too, isn't it? It's a gift to you, each other, you know, to each other. And I do feel masculines for this collective that we've got a little bit of feminine energy opening up here with this High Priestess. Interestingly, that came up in the feminine reading as well. And the High Priestess is about following your intuition, but it's an incredibly feminine energy. And I feel that you've reached a point in peace with this and harmony with the energies within this connection, and perhaps you're not feeling quite so. If the energies are consistent, I'm just going to try and think the best way to phrase this. When you're two souls in one body and you're consistently feeling your feminine's energy and vice versa, sometimes I understand that can be a tad overwhelming and actually doesn't make sense to you. May not make sense sometimes why you're feeling like you're feeling. You know, if you've been in a bit of a funk or just couldn't figure out what was wrong, people saying to you, know, what's wrong? And you're like, I don't know. You know, this is the synergy and the connection that happens when, you know, these two parts of it, the same soul meet, you know, and that can be quite unnerving. But I think more than overthinking it with logic, I think you too, masculines, with the Five of Wands in reverse, previously this has been a bit of a point of conflict for you, you know, confusion. It's perhaps destabilized things a little bit, because, you know, fives are not stable. They're not stable energy at all. So I think that this time that you guys are having where you're still in communication and things are all good, but it's not heavy, I think has definitely helped. And I think your intuition, I feel like that's a louder voice in your head at the moment, masculines, which, you know, rather than the logic. And, you know, when you say the words to your feminine, trust in me, you're asking her to have, or them to have faith in you. And do you know what? Based on the reading that I've just done, they really, really do. And more to the point as well, they have faith in themselves. And I feel the energy on this is that you're proud of them. But if there was any advice I was to give you, you know, in the sort of mental place that you're at the minute, masculines, is keep listening to that intuitive voice, that gut feeling, that let that be your guide. But also be aware that there will be points where this will flip from this to this, because the ego and the logical mind doesn't go down without a fight sometimes. So don't overthink that, and try your best to accept it rather than sort of resist it, because it's an organic part of the process, and it does take time. But nothing's put in front of you that you're not strong enough to deal with, masculines. So, you know. Right, we're going to take a little look at what's going on in the heart space. So by this, what are you feeling about this connection at the moment? So let's see what the cards have got to say. I'm seeing lots of signs and synchronicities. Masculines, are numbers haunting you? Are you having dreams? Is there telepathy that you're, you know, in sync, you're feeling your feminine's energies? I would like to think in this connection right now that the energy is calm, and as you're being calm and it's feeling more grounded, that these things start to happen. And you know, when you're on the right path, masculines, this happens all the time. 1111, 911, the list goes on, you know, but be aware of those moments, and when they do happen, smile. You know, you might see their name on a number plate, or see a bar with their name on, or whatever, but it will, or I don't know, an email will pop up at work and it's got that person's name, you know. But all of these are little signs and synchronicities just to remind you that you're not alone on this journey, even though sometimes you may feel like you are. Right, in the heart space you're feeling stuck, so I kind of want to get some clarification on that, because at the moment the energy of this reading feels pretty good. So masculines, I'm going to take a look before I develop into the thought-based part. So I'm going to take how you're feeling. I just want to look at what the feelings are surrounding this element of being stuck, because I think we need to get some clarification on that before I look at the overall heart space for you guys. All right. Okay. Yeah. I feel with the energy of this, guys, that what you're feeling stuck about is communication about how you feel. I feel almost like you want to bring about change to this connection, and you're really proud for your feminine on giving the connection some breathing space, which in turn is giving you both that. But I do feel a little bit here like you're being compelled and pushed by your intuition to bring about change. And I feel that the change is connecting to self, connecting to the divine or your intuition, and connecting with your twin, because we've also got the Three of Pentacles here. And this can be about sort of working together, but I feel that, and in the upright, it is about working together. So if you're feeling stuck, it's because I feel in this you are in your logic, your ego mind, because a lot of this journey doesn't make logical sense in the early stages. It's something that requires you to just trust in the journey and have faith and use your intuition as your guide. So if there was any advice in being able to come out of this feeling of stuck, because right now we've got the Four of Wands that's come out in reverse as well, clarifying this. Sorry, 1 second. And I feel that you want to see movement and change, and the cycle of perhaps you not speaking about how you feel, you want that to come to an end. You're just not sure how to do it. And the advice from the cards to remove yourself away from this feeling of being stuck is about working with your, not just your intuition or the divine, connecting to source, but also connecting with your feminine as and when it feels right, and having that faith that you're asking the feminines to have in you with trust in me. This, I feel, is also a message to you from the divine and your intuition to say trust in them too. You know, ask of yourself what you ask of your feminine, you know, because the healing works both ways, you know. The Four of Wands in the upright for me is a twin flame card, because you've got the wands, which are for me 1111, and that's a twin flame number. And also this is for me about union and bringing stability and happiness. You can see these guys are joyous. Yeah, that it's about abundance and just really beautiful energy. And this is in the reverse, so I feel for you to to move this from the reverse, which is feeling stuck, not feeling fulfilled, not feeling overly stable. I feel for you to do that, there needs to be work in the heart space on connecting to source. And by that, you can do this through meditations or guided meditations. You can, you know, send love to your feminine even if you're not seeing each other. You know, the energies, when in sync and you connect, there's telepathy between hearts anyway, you know. Let's take a look at, again, the heart space as an overall for you guys at the present moment. So how are you feeling about the connection overall? Because obviously that's the advice from the cards when it comes to the sort of that gnarly, niggly feeling, sort of stuck and not sure what's happening next. So let's just take a look. Wanting to take things slow and steady, that's the energy on this. My advice in the heart space right now is don't get frustrated with yourself. The progress takes time. The healing takes time. Be patient with yourself. You know, I feel with patience in the heart space, you will, you know, you have been feeling conflicted. You've been feeling a little bit like there's not enough gas in the tank to keep going, and perhaps this connection's been somewhat overwhelming. And I feel almost in your heart of hearts and your intuition, you know that taking time out for yourself to heal is needed, to move away from that feeling. And this has come out in the reverse, so I do feel like this time that you've taken, you know, you've moved away from that mentality and more towards acceptance that it will take as long as it takes. And you're happy to, you know, you're happy to wait for your feminine until they're ready to, you know, to step forward. But when they do step forward, this is the energy that you want to be. And right now, this has come out in the reverse. So, you know, you're not feeling quite there yet anyway. But you know, I think with connecting to yourself more, as the you know, the clarifiers said on that I'm feeling stuck card, it will you know, definitely see this energy move from sort of not feeling as grounded about the connection to moving towards more grounding. I also feel perhaps as well for this collective of masculines, they may not be in truth financially ready for the connection as well. So there is an energy here for me, guys, about wanting to be able to put your best foot forward when it comes to reconnecting, in the sense of reunion, physical reunion with your twin. And my advice is, if that has been a pressure point for you, be patient. This energy is slow moving, so Rome wasn't built in a day is what I hear. Yeah. Right, so we're going to take a little look at, like we've done heart, head, we're going to take a look at blockages now for you masculines. So where are the blockages in this connection for this collective of masculines at the moment, please? What did I say just now in your heart space? What was my advice from the cards? Be patient with yourselves and each other. And I'm confronting those around me. So yeah, if there are any niggles or feelings of discontent or I feel with this masculines that this is about people that have disempowered you, and I feel that perhaps there are people that have shone negative darkness on this connection, or you know, your feelings towards your feminine, they've not been supportive of this connection, and I feel like you've reached a point where you're not happy to accept what they've got to say. You're making your own decisions, you're following your own intuition. We're going to take a little look at the, you know, like I say, the blockages. I think in the sense that this has come up as a blockage, I think definitely you are being too hard on yourself, and you need to be more patient with yourself too. And I do think confronting those around me, this blockage has been that you haven't done so. So people have had a said opinion about this connection, or you, or your journey, or your feminine. And I don't think that you've necessarily stood up for yourself. And that can be this energy here too. You know, this can be about standing up for yourself, and it can definitely be about standing up for yourself. So perhaps there, you know, in the coming weeks, there's a situation with people where you feel that you need to actually stand your ground with them, you know. I don't like the term confront. I think that can be quite, it's a negative. I would say that it's better to look at addressing, you know, so if there are niggles with certain people and you're not happy with their perceptions and their opinions and their potentially judgments, it's about neutralising that. And always remember that confronting can be quite a masculine energy, but actually if you wish to see change in people's perceptions, you need to follow by example. So have your boundaries by all means, because as you put boundaries in place with people, you become boundaries, and it just becomes normal. It's not something you have to consciously think about, but the more secure you are and the more you trust yourself, the better the delivery will be when it comes to discussing this with this group of this person or people. And I don't think it's necessary to confront in a way that is combative. I would advise that this is something that's done with love and delivered in a way that the person can be compassionate to where you're at. So yeah, I hope that resonates with you guys. If it does, you know, yeah, do let me know. But that's the energy I feel with this at the moment. So, blockages for my masculines. Right, the blockages for you masculines has been communication, which is exactly what I've said earlier on in the reading. The Eight of Swords, when it's in the upright, is all about quick moving communication. And I think actually you haven't been communicating with these people that you need to talk to. And I think you've not been communicating with your feminines, which is obviously then in turn made you feel stuck. So this definitely seems to be a common thing within the reading. Yeah, that the communication has definitely been a blockage for you, my darling, and no matter who it is in your life at this stage surrounding this. And I feel like, you know, there's been an element here of kind of holding on to perhaps people in your life that just, you don't resonate with you anymore. And maybe this confronting those around me card is about needing to cut away some dead wood, you know, and actually letting go of this pentacle. Because I think once you do this and you move out of that mentality of refraining from comment, once you start communicating, things will move forward. And I feel that the lack of movement for you personally has been a challenge. And the Wheel of Fortune is about, you know, things shifting in such a big way that I think when you do speak up, you're probably going to shock quite a few people or that person. But if you don't speak up, and remember, you know, it's not just what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. So, you know, my advice in this as well is not to be brash, because this is really rapid moving communication, whereas this is, for me, the energy of this is to stop, to think, and communicate in not such a rapid way. You know, when you think of wands, you think of fire, and that can, you know, that is rapid energy, and it's passionate, and it can be volatile and unpredictable. And I think having this energy in the reverse, grounded here with the pentacles, and pentacles are earth, that's grounded, it's solid, it's structured. You know, I feel that this communication, when it happens, needs to be exactly that. And I think once you do open up about how you feel, you'll start to see really big shifts, not just perhaps with the communication with your twin, if it's that, or a friend or a family member that's got an opinion. It could even, because this is a pentacle, it could be a boss. You know, perhaps there could be for you guys a situation where you're not getting paid what you should be, and that means you're not happy in work, and therefore you need to make a decision to either leave that job and move on to pastures new, or have a conversation about a pay rise, you know. That could also be it, when pentacles can be about sort of the physical 3D or the earthly realms or money. But for me, in this, when it comes to sort of communication, I feel like it's advice from the cards to say just keep things grounded, you know. Let's take a little look as well for you feminines in actions for the, you know, for the foreseeable future, in terms of right now, if this resonates, this reading resonates, what the actions are likely to be in the next couple of months or so for you guys. All right, I'm fighting for us. We are working together in the astral. Oh dear. So when I spoke to you about working together with your feminine and also the divine, that kind of mirrors the card that came out, the Three of Pentacles that came out, clarifying that feeling of being stuck. So if there is ever a message about being able to move away from feeling stuck and sort of seeing this shifting and this movement that you want to happen, you know, recognise that you can work together even if you're not seeing each other at the moment, you know. And you know what, I'm fighting for us. Your feminines will know this. With all of those. Oh. Your feminines will know that. And do you know what? Yes, you are. Do you know why? Because you're doing this. You're removing that blockage that's stopping this connection move forward. Right, we're just going to take a look with the tarot deck for you, my darlings, in terms of actions, just so we can get like a sort of a clearer overview for you guys. So we've got the cards that have come out in the, we're on actions, aren't we, for the next few months. I feel that there's not going to be a lot of movement over the next couple of months. I feel that whatever it is, the work that you need to do is going to take a bit of time. I feel that you're going to be, if you look at these two cards, the Ace of Swords in the upright is about speaking your truth. And I feel that it's about bringing clarity to a situation, and in the reverse, that's the opposite. So I feel that you're going to be working towards bringing about clarity when it comes to communication, because the swords are communication, yeah? And that, you know, when we got the Eight of Cups, that's about walking away, yeah? Or leaving a situation. It's an energy of unfulfillment emotionally, and perhaps actually you're unfulfilled because of the disempowerment that's been going on surrounding this particular connection. And if you look at this card is walking away from, I feel, the emotional hurt and the conflict that you've had, and it's moving towards clarity. So I would anticipate that in the next reading of this kind, that you may well see that energy is shifted, because this guy's walking towards this clarity. So you know that mentally and emotionally, that's the direction that you're going in. It's just not going to be immediate. It's going to take time. And I feel that's why you are saying to your feminines, please be patient with me. Because you know that you are taking, you know, it's going to take some time for you to get there. But believe me, masculines, you will get there. And when you do, it's going to free you. You know, we've got the Fool in the reverse. And the Fool is all about new beginnings. It's taking a leap of faith. It's quite young. It can be quite naive. There's lots to learn. You know, so when you start out on the Fool's journey around the tarot deck across the major arcana, you know, there are lots and lots and lots of lessons for that Fool to learn. The nice part of this reading is you've also got the World. So those two together are the beginning and the end. So the work that you need to do surrounding communication is what will bring this to this. And in turn, that is 100%, you know, the change that needs to happen within this connection to shift those energies from forward movement so that you can go from this to this within the connection. I think there is also an energy here for me as well with the Fool coming out in reverse, because you don't want to go into the situation blindly. You've learned lots, you're still in process of learning lots, and I do feel that when you make that leap of faith, it will be to take this to the finishing line. You know, not that there is, it's a journey, not a destination as such, but I feel that the finishing line in this instance is about forward movement and completion. Perhaps do some meditations that focus on your throat chakra, you know, so that can enable, you know, you to clear, because maybe masculines, there's a blockage here for you within the throat chakra area, and that's what's preventing you, you know, communicating how you're feeling or what you would like to see, or putting in healthy boundaries. And so if you focus on that perhaps for, you know, this week and onwards really, you'll start to do chakra alignment and then focus on the throat chakra solely, and just clear that blockage so that you're able to speak and then bring about the change that's needed in this connection. But change is definitely coming. All right, my darlings, well, that concludes the readings for you guys. I really hope that you found it beneficial and informative. If you have, let me know down below. And I wish both the feminines and the masculines within this communication collective to have a really lovely week. And I will catch up with this collective and you guys next week. All right, my darlings, take care. Oh, and don't forget to hit subscribe or whatever side that's on. All right, take care. Bye.